Hello students, myself Gopinath Borik once again with you in bio class. So students, we had started a chapter that is digestion and absorption, and in our last class we are doing the structure of our digestive system, and here we have done the detailing of the oral cavity, okay, and in the oral cavity we have seen that two structures are very important over here, and those are teeth. In the oral cavity, the two structures are very important, and those two structures are what? One is teeth, and the second one is what? The second one is tongue. And now you know that the teeth are of 4 different types in an adult body, starting from the incisor, incisor, then there are canine. Here, then the premolar, and at the end, the molar is present, okay? And the tongue is helping for what? To take the taste because it is containing different types of papillae which is bearing the taste buds, okay? Now, how many types of taste buds are present? I told you beforehand also. The tongue is containing 4 types of taste buds, starting from the circumvallate papillae. Sorry, how many types of papillae it is containing? 4 types of papillae. So starting from the circumvallate papillae, then the fungiform papillae, then the filiform papillae, and the foliate papillae. Okay, so 4 different types of papillae are there. Okay, and after that we had learned that here a ring-like structure is present, which is made of different kinds of tonsil. And this structure is known as Waldeyer's ring. I told you last day. So this structure is known as a Waldeyer's ring. Waldeyer's ring. And 4 types of, the 4 types of tonsils are present over here, starting from the lingual tonsil, then the palatine tonsil, then which one? Then the tubal tonsil and the adenoid tonsil. So 4 different types of tonsils are making the Waldeyer's ring. Okay. Now after this, one more thing we have to learn over here, that is about a gland, which is secreting. It's secretion inside the oral cavity, inside the buccal cavity. Now what is the name of that gland? All of you know the glands which is present over here. That gland is nothing but the what? Salivary gland. So let's see the detailing of the salivary gland over here. Okay. So next we are going to do the salivary gland here. Now remember that there are 3 pairs of salivary glands we have, right? So 3 pairs of salivary glands we have. The first one is known as what? The first one is known as the parotid gland. Okay. It's present near the location of the ear. Okay. So if this is ear, so from the ear it is extending. From the region of ear it is extending. Okay. So this parotid gland, it is extending from the location of what? From the location of the ear. Okay. And remember, it looks like a parrot. That's why the name has been given the parotid gland. Okay. So this is what? This is the parotid gland. Okay. Parotid gland. And along with that, one more point we should keep in mind about the parotid gland, that it is the largest salivary gland. What it is? It is the largest salivary gland. Okay. Now here, here a bone is present which is extending from your right side to the left side. Okay. Only a single bone. Okay. Because of which movement we can move our oral cavity also. We can move our mouth also. Right. So that bone is known as what? That bone which is extending from the right side to left side, that is known as mandible. Okay. And now the bone below this bone, the gland, the salivary gland is present, that is called as what? That is called as the submandibular gland, because it is present just below the mandible, okay? So over this region only, okay? So over this region only these glands are present, okay? Definitely on right side and the left side, okay? On both the sides they are present. Clear? Done? So the second type of salivary gland, what we can see over here, that is known as submandibular gland, okay? Submandibular gland, okay? And one more gland is present there just below the tongue, okay? On both sides, right side and left side, okay? And you know, the tongue is helping to produce the language, okay? So it's called lingua, okay? So below the tongue, below the lingua, a structure is present, a salivary gland is present over here, okay? Just below the lingua, okay? On both the sides, right and left, okay? One pair. And that gland is known as what? That gland is known as the sublingual gland, because it is present below the lingua. That's why sublingual gland. So how many types of salivary glands we have seen over here? 3 different types, okay? Starting from the parotid gland, which is the largest one, okay? Then the second one is known as what? The second one is called as the submandibular gland, mandibular gland. And the third one is called as what? The third one is called as the sublingual gland. Done? Now, the parotid gland, it is secreting the saliva through a duct, definitely through a duct. It is secreting its saliva into the oral cavity. Because why it is secreting the saliva through a duct? Because it's an exocrine gland. You know, the exocrine gland should have a duct to secrete its secretions. So the parotid gland has a duct to secrete its saliva into the oral cavity. And what is the name of that duct which is bringing the secretion of the parotid gland from it to the oral cavity? The name of the duct is Stenson's duct, okay? Stenson's duct. So the parotid gland is secreting its saliva through the Stenson's duct, okay? So right like that, the submandibular gland also has a duct to secrete its saliva, okay? Now the name of the duct from which through which the secretions or the saliva is coming from the submandibular gland into the oral cavity, that is what? The name of that duct is Wharton's duct. Wharton's duct. Okay? And the sublingual gland, they also have the ducts to secrete the saliva inside the oral cavity, okay? And what is the name of those ducts which are secreting the salivary secretion? So that ducts, those ducts are known as the duct of Ruvinus, okay? Duct of Ruvinus. Now, here these are the ducts through which the secretions are coming inside the what? Inside the oral cavity, okay? So, these are the ducts through which the secretions are coming inside the oral cavity. Now, where these ducts are opening inside the oral cavity? Remember, the Stenson's duct, which is coming from the parotid gland, that is opening at the upper molar teeth region. Where? At the upper molar teeth region. Okay? Clear? The submandibular gland, okay? From it, the Wharton's duct is coming, and that is opening it near the incisor teeth, lower incisor teeth. Okay? So near the lower incisor teeth, it is opening. And definitely the duct of Ruvinus is opening below the tongue. Okay? Tongue region. So these are the different types of glands from where the secretions are coming of saliva. Okay. Now, here the parotid gland, remember the parotid gland is secreting the maximum amount of saliva. Okay. The maximum amount of saliva is secreted by what? Parotid gland. Okay. And its secreted saliva is serous in nature. Okay. What it is? It is serous in nature. Okay. Serous in nature. Serous means quite watery in nature. Okay. So that's why it is called serous in nature. Submandibular gland. Okay. As I am coming to submandibular gland afterward. Before that, I am just talking about the sublingual gland. Okay. So about the sublingual gland, if I say, then the sublingual gland secretion is rich of mucin. Okay. Mucin means which is rich of mucus. Okay. Mucin is a substance because of which the mucus is produced. Okay. So it is rich of mucin. Okay. So the sublingual gland secretion is quite rich in mucin, or you can say mucus. Okay. It is rich of mucus. And submandibular gland. Now we are talking about the submandibular gland. This gland secretion is what? This gland secretion is a mixed secretion. Means it is containing the mucus secretion also. It is containing the serous secretion also. Okay. So it's a mixed secretion. Okay. Clear? Now the saliva. What is its functions? So what the enzymes are present inside the saliva? What are their functions? All those things we will discuss, but we will discuss it in the digestion portion. Okay. But right now we are discussing about the structure, so I'm just keeping the saliva for now. I'll come back to saliva and its function later on when we'll discuss about the digestion process. Okay, clear? So here we are done with the oral cavity. Okay, here at the end of the oral cavity, here the region is present. That region is called as what? This region is called as the pharynx region, you know that. Okay. So this region is called as what? This region is called as the pharynx region. So I'm just rubbing this glands and the ear structure over here. I need this space, so I'm rubbing it. Okay. So let me clear the board here. So here the end region is known as the end region of the oral cavity. Is known as what? This is known as pharynx, you know. So this is called as what? This is called as the pharynx region. Done. Now here the pharynx region has three different parts. One portion is called as nasopharynx. Okay. Here, this portion, the upper portion, is called as what? This is called as nasopharynx because it is connected directly with the nasal cavity over this region. Okay. So this is called as nasopharynx. The next region is called as what? Which is present just behind of the oral cavity, that is called as oropharynx. Okay. What it is called? It is called as oropharynx. Okay. And just below of the oropharynx, we are getting a region where the tongue is attached. See, here in this region, the tongue is attached. Okay. So this region is called as the laryngopharynx. Okay. So, sorry, here is the region, sorry. Here, just below the oropharynx, so what we can see here, just below the oropharynx, a region is present that is called as laryngopharynx. Okay. Why it is called the laryngopharynx? Because here, from here, another pipe is coming down. Okay. Just in front of the foot pipe. And here, the pipe which is coming down, that is what? That is called as the windpipe. Okay. And this windpipe's first portion is called as what? This first portion of it is called as larynx. Okay. So that's why, as it is connected, as this pharynx is directly connected to the larynx, so that's why it is also known as laryngopharynx. Okay, so three regions of the pharynx we have got. First of all, the nasopharynx, then it is oropharynx, then it is laryngopharynx. Okay, next, here the nasopharynx, here is the opening of what? The opening of the nasal cavity is present, through which the air can come from the nasal cavity. Once the air has been entered during the time of inhalation, the air has entered through the nostril and it has reached the nasal cavity, and from the nasal cavity it is coming down to the pharynx region. Okay, and behind the oral cavity, you know, here a opening is present at the nasopharynx region, and that opening is called as inner nares. Okay, and this inner nares or the opening of the nasal cavity, through this opening, the food can move towards the upward direction during the time of swallowing, you know. So here the foods can move when you are swallowing the food. At that moment the food can move from here to the upward direction. Okay, and it can reach the nasal cavity. Okay, so it is required to stop it. Okay, so for that I had drawn a structure last day over here. At the end of the palate structure is hanging over here. What is the name of that structure? I told you this structure is called as uvula. What it is called? It is called as uvula. Last day I told you. So here, whenever we are trying to engulf the food, when we are trying to swallow the food, at that moment the uvula will be moving, okay, towards the upward direction because of the pressure on it. Okay, so whenever we are trying to swallow the food, because of the pressure of food on it, it is moving towards the upward direction and it will close the opening of the nasal cavity or the inner nares at the nasopharynx region. Okay, so the food after that can't move towards the upward direction, it will come down only. Okay, clear? So that's how the uvula is working in the body. Now in the nasopharynx region we get a cannular structure which is connecting it to the middle ear. Okay, which is connecting it to the where? Middle ear. Okay, ear has three different parts, we know. The external ear, then the middle ear, and the what? In the inner ear. Now the middle ear is connected to the nasopharynx through a pipe, and that pipe-like structure is known as what? That is called as Eustachian pipe. Okay, or Eustachian canal. Eustachian canal. Okay, then what is the purpose of it? You know, if I draw the ear over here, so here it is the emitters, here the eardrum is present. Okay, and here the middle ear region. Okay, here three bones here are present, one after one. Okay, you know those bones. So these are the three bones thing, okay, who are connected one after one. Okay, clear? And here an empty space is present. Okay, and on this side, from this side, the air is coming every time. Here a membrane eardrum is present. Okay, eardrum is present. Now the air which is coming every time from this direction, this will give a pressure on this eardrum, and because of that pressure the eardrum can be erupted anytime. Okay, clear? To stop it, okay, to stop it, we need a same amount of air pressure on the from the opposite side also, means from the side of the middle ear also. Okay, and that is possible only because of this Eustachian canal, because this Eustachian canal is connected to what? It is connected to the nasopharynx region. It is connected to the nasopharynx region. Now here at the nasopharynx region the air is coming, right? And that air through the Eustachian canal is reaching the middle ear region. Okay, and it is giving the same amount of pressure on the opposite direction, and because of that the eardrum is remaining in the constant condition every time. Okay, clear? So That's how the eustachian canal is very much important for us. Okay, clear? And it is present where it is connected from the nasopharynx to the middle ear. Now, after the pharynx, next we'll learn about the structure. The structure is called as what? Esophagus. Okay, what it is called? It is called as the esophagus. This esophagus or food pipe, it is coming down from the middle of the thoracic cavity. Okay, it is coming down what? It is coming down the middle of thoracic cavity, just behind of the windpipe. Okay, clear? Now, what is the length of this esophagus? The length of the esophagus is near about 18 to 25 centimeter. Okay, 18 to 25 centimeter it is in length. Okay, clear? Now, if you cut this esophagus, if you cut the esophagus, then what we can get? If I cut the wall of esophagus like this way, if I cut it, a transverse cut, okay, then a surface area on this side I will get, and that surface area I am drawing over here. So think this is the area we have got after cutting it. Okay, now inside a lumen is present. Definitely you can understand through which the food is passing, right? Now here the lumen is present, so this is the lumen. Okay, and this is the wall of this esophagus. Now in this wall, from the outside to inside if we go, then we are getting 4 different layers. Okay, what? 4 different layers. Okay, so I'm drawing those 4 different layers over here. So this is the first layer. Think. Second layer. Third layer and fourth layer. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, clear? So 4 different layers are present. Now, what are the names of these 4 different layers over here? So the names of these 4 different layers are serosa. But in case of the esophagus, okay. Achha, one more thing before that I should say that these 4 layers I will get throughout the alimentary canal after this. Okay, means if I start from here, then starting from here up to this, okay, everywhere I will get these 4 different layers. Okay, up to the anal canal. Okay, clear? Now this 4 different layers if we see, okay, then from the outside to inside we are getting serosa. Then the next layer what we are getting, that is called as a muscular layer. Then the third layer is known as submucosa. And the innermost layer is called as the mucosa. So these are the 4 different layers. Okay, SM, okay, SM. Okay, so these are the 4 different layers. But remember, in case of the esophagus, okay, in case of what I have told you, in case of esophagus, the outermost layer, okay, the outermost layer, that should not be called as the serosa, because serosa it will be called only when the peritoneal membrane, the visceral peritoneal membrane is connected with this outermost layer. Okay, this outermost layer is fibrous in nature generally, and along with this fibrous layer, if the if the visceral membrane, okay, if the visceral membrane get attached, then only what we are getting, then only we are getting the serosa layer, okay. But if the peritoneal, the visceral peritoneum is not attached to this outermost covering of fibrous layer, okay, then the serosa layer, we shouldn't call it as serosa layer. What we will call it? We'll call it as the layer of adventitia, okay, adventitia. And the same thing is happening for here, the same thing is happening here for the esophagus. In case of esophagus, what we are not getting at the outermost layer, we are not getting the layer of peritoneum, okay. The peritoneum is not merged with this fibrous layer over here in the esophagus level, okay. So only what we are getting over here at the outermost layer, only at the outermost layer we are getting the fibrous coating, okay. And that fibrous coating will be called as what? That will be called as adventitia, okay, clear? So this is the structure, outermost structure. Now if I come from the outermost structure to the next structure, that is called as the muscular layer, okay. What it is called? Muscular layer, okay. So the muscle man, okay, because of it all the contractility is happening, okay. So for the contractility, it's primarily responsible for this one, okay, for the contractility of the wall of this alimentary canal. This muscular layer is responsible, okay. Now if I see the muscularis layer, then in the muscularis layer, okay, or in the muscular layer, what we are getting so I should say muscularis layer. Here the muscularis layer, what we are getting from outside to inside, if I go, then we are getting two layers, okay. So if I go from outside to inside, then we are getting two layers, okay. So what are those two layers? Outside we are getting the layer of longitudinal muscle, okay. Outside we are getting what? The layer of longitudinal muscle, okay. Longitudinal muscle. And the inside we are getting what? Inside we are getting the layer of circular muscle, okay. So inside what we are getting? Inside we are getting the layer of circular muscle. So these two layers of muscles we are getting here in the muscularis, okay. So there are two layers of the muscularis layer. One is the longitudinal muscle that is present outside, and the other one is circular muscle which is present towards the inner side, okay. Here in the circular muscle layer, what we are getting? The muscles are arranged like this way in the, if this is the layer of muscularis layer, here we will get the muscles are arranged like this way, okay. Let me use another ink. So the muscles are arranged like this way, okay. That's why these are called as circular muscles, okay, clear. But if you see the longitudinal layer, if you see the longitudinal layer, then what we are getting? So think this is the outer longitudinal layer. So what we will see over here at the outer longitudinal layer, here the muscles are extending like this way according to the length, okay. So it is called as what? This is called as the longitudinal muscle layer because it is present according to the length, okay. But the inner one is known as what? The inner one is known as the circular muscle layer, okay. Because here the muscle fibers are arranged according to the inner circle, okay, clear. So two layers of muscle we have got. One is longitudinal muscle and the other one is circular muscle, okay, clear. Now the next thing, apart from these, one more muscle fiber, one more type of muscle layer we are getting in the stomach, okay. What is that? An extra layer, okay, an extra layer we are getting inside the what? Stomach, okay. And that muscle layer is called as oblique muscle. What it is? It is oblique muscle. Now here in the, if you see the wall of the stomach, here from the outside to inside if we go, then first we'll get the longitudinal muscle, then we'll get the circular muscle to the inner side, and to the inner side of the circular muscle we'll get another muscular layer that will be called as oblique muscle. Now here if we draw the oblique muscle, okay, if we draw the oblique muscle, how it is arranged? So definitely the circular muscle was arranged according to the circle, longitudinal muscle is arranged according to the length. So definitely the oblique muscles are arranged obliquely, right, in the wall. In the wall if you see, they are arranged like this way, okay, so like this way, like this way, like this way, okay, so they are arranged obliquely, okay, clear? So that's how the oblique muscles are arranged, okay, and we are getting in the what? In the wall of stomach, just inside of the circular muscle, okay. So in the stomach from outside to inside, if we go in the muscularis layer, we are getting three layers actually. First of all the longitudinal muscle, then the circular muscle, and the inside we are getting the oblique muscle. Done. Now the next layer after the muscularis, the next layer will be called as what? The next layer is called as the submucosa layer, okay. So from the name only we can understand the submucosa means a layer which is present just below the mucosa, okay. Here you can see also this is a layer of mucosa, okay, and just below of it this layer is present, so it is called as what? It is called as submucosa, okay. Remember the submucosa is full of connective tissue. What it is? It is full of the connective tissue along with the connection of blood vessels, lymph tissue, okay, and along with that what else is present? Nerve connection, okay. So in the submucosa layer what we are getting? Let's write over here. So in the submucosa layer what we are getting? Submucosa layer what we are getting from our so in the submucosa layer we are getting the number one, the connective tissue, along with that the connection of blood vessels, along with that the connection of lymph, okay. Next the connection of nerve, and along with that lymphoid tissue, okay. Done. So these are all present here in the submucosa, okay, clear? Next at the end or the innermost layer is called as what? It is called as the mucosa layer, okay, and here the mucosa layer is made of what? It is made of the epithelial cell. Remember, it is made of the epithelial cell and its derivatives, okay, clear? So always remember the mucosa layer is made of epithelial cell and its derivatives, okay. But it's so easy like that? No. It is not only made of the what? It is not only made of the epithelial T cells or its derivatives, okay, but along with that many other things are present, okay. What are those? So if I see the mucosa layer properly in details, then what I will get from outside to inside over here in the mucosa layer. So in the mucosa layer from the outside to inside if we go, then we are getting three different layers, okay. What are those? So let's see. So this is the number one layer, then this is second layer, and this is the innermost third layer, okay. Done. Done. So these are the three different layers, okay, clear? Now here the outermost one is made of muscles, okay, and it is known as internal muscularis layer, okay, internal muscularis layer, or it is also called muscularis mucosa, okay, it is also called as muscularis mucosa. Okay, done. Then a layer is present over here, the second layer after first layer from outside to inside. If I go from after first layer, the second layer, what we are getting, okay, that is called as lamina propria. What it is called? It is called as lamina propria. And inside the lamina propria, what we are getting? This lamina propria is quite like the submucosa, okay? Because what? Because here we are getting the connective tissue, here we are getting the blood connection, here we are getting the lymph connection, and few amount of lymphoid tissue also, okay? So that's why it's quite like what? It's quite like the submucosa. And now the innermost layer, okay, that is the mucosa layer, okay, the epithelial mucosa layer, okay? So this is the epithelial mucosa layer, epithelial mucosa layer. Now this one, this innermost one, this third one is made of what? This third one is made of epithelial cells, okay? And that's why it is epithelial mucosa. So 3 layers of the mucosa we have got over here from outside to inside. If we go, then first of all we are getting the muscularis mucosa, the second we are getting the lamina propria, and the third one we are getting the epithelial mucosa, okay? Clear? Now these epitheliums are starting, the lining of epithelium towards the inner side, it has started from the oral cavity only, you know, started from the oral cavity only, and it is extending throughout the alimentary canal, everywhere, whatever we are observing, everywhere towards the innermost side. What we are getting? Every time towards the innermost side, we are getting the epithelial cell layer, okay? Now which kind of epithelia are there? We know different kinds of epithelials are present inside the body, like we know the squamous epithelium, stratified squamous epithelium, columnar epithelium, cuboidal epithelium. So different kinds, okay? So different kinds of epitheliums are there, okay? But which one is present over here? That we have to know, okay? Clear? So if I start from the oral cavity, then oral cavity, pharynx, and the first portion of the esophagus, okay? What did I say? Oral cavity, pharynx, and the first portion of the esophagus, and along with that the anal canal region, okay, anal canal region, which is opening into anus. These regions are made of stratified squamous epithelium. Remember, these portions are made of, the inner lining here is made of the stratified squamous epithelium, okay, where inside the oral cavity, in the pharynx region, in the first portion of the esophagus, and in the inside the anal canal region, okay? So here what we are getting? Here we are getting the stratified squamous epithelium, okay? In the rest portion of the alimentary canal, throughout, what we are getting? We are getting the columnar epithelium. Remember, in the rest portion, what we are getting? The columnar epithelium, okay? So these two kinds of epithelium we are getting over here, okay? Clear? Done? So along with that, we are done with the histology or the tissue structure of this wall, okay? Wall of alimentary canal. Two more things we should know here in the wall. Here I told you the nerves are making the connection over here in the wall, okay? Where are these nerve endings are present, or where the nerve nets are present within the wall of the alimentary canal. So I am drawing the alimentary canal from outside to inside. Then first of all we are getting the serosa layer. Then we are getting what? We are getting 2 layers of muscles. Here it is the what? Here it is the longitudinal muscle, okay? And this is what? This is what? The circular muscle. These together are making the muscularis layer, okay? Next, what we are getting? We are getting the submucosa layer over here, and the innermost portion, what we are getting? The mucosa layer. Done. Here we are getting two areas of nerve net or nerve plexus. One is between the longitudinal muscle and the circular muscle. Here, in between the longitudinal muscle and the circular muscle, over this region, we are getting a nerve plexus, okay, or net of nerve, okay, which is helping for the contraction of this longitudinal muscle and the circular muscles. Now, what is the name of this nerve plexus present over here? This is known as Orbach's plexus, okay. What it is called? Orbach's plexus or net, okay, or it is also called as myenteric plexus. What it is also called? It is called as also the myenteric plexus, okay. And remember, one more plexus is present there, here. At the submucosa, okay, just below the circular muscle, in the submucosa, okay, the submucosa we are getting another plexus, okay, and this plexus of nerve is called as what? It is called as the Meissner's plexus, okay. Meissner's plexus, okay. So these are two types of plexus we are getting over here. What is the function for the Meissner's plexus over here? Meissner's plexus are helping to secrete a different glandular secretion from the submucosa. Remember, inside the submucosa portion, we are getting different glands also, okay. So from those gland secretion, we need the impulse or informations through the through the Meissner's plexus, okay, clear? So these are the two types of plexus which are present inside the wall, okay. Now, starting from the esophagus region, throughout the alimentary canal, the food is coming down. But why the food is coming down through the alimentary canal? Is it because of gravitational force? From the upper side, the food is coming towards the downward direction. No, it is not like that. It is coming because of alternate contraction relaxation which is going on throughout the alimentary canal, okay. So what is happening? See, think right now, this is the esophagus, okay. And here a food bowl is present. The food bolus is present over here, okay. So right now this region, you can see this has been expanded. That means it has been relaxed, okay. But the next region is contracted till now, okay. But in the next diagram, what we'll see? In the next diagram, we'll see the food. Achha. Let's draw this like this way, okay. So here this area is relaxed, okay. This area is relaxing, okay. But here the bolus, okay. Let me start it from here. तो बीच में ये थोड़ा काट कर देना. Okay, let's see how the foods are coming down. Okay, it's a diagram of a esophagus. Now food bolus is present over here, okay, clear? Now see here, this area of the esophagus wall is relaxing, but this area is contracting, okay, clear? So this area is contracting, but this area is relaxing. In the very next diagram, what we'll see that the food because of this contraction, the food has come down. The food has come down from here to this region. Now see. So right now the food has come down, okay? And previously this area was relaxing, okay? But right now this area is contracting, okay? So right now this area is contracting. And the next area is relaxing, okay? So here what we can see, an alternate contraction relaxation is going on. And because of this alternate contraction and relaxation, the food is coming down through the alimentary canal. Okay? Clear? Now, this alternate contraction and relaxation is known as what? The alternate contraction and relaxation, because of which the food is coming down throughout the alimentary canal, that is called as the peristalsis. Okay? What it is called? It is called as peristalsis. Okay? Alternate contraction and relaxation. Okay? Done? So this is called as the peristalsis process. Done? Now, this peristalsis is occurring because of what? Because of that muscularis layer. We have learned about it, the longitudinal muscle, circular muscle. So those are helping for this peristalsis process. Okay? Done? Now, we should keep in mind that here some sphincters are present. Okay? When the food is coming down, at that moment, before that, the sphincter is closed. But because of pressure of the food, the sphincter is opening and the food can pass through this esophagus. Now, what is the name of this sphincter present at the beginning of the esophagus over here? This is known as a upper esophageal sphincter. Okay? It is called as upper esophageal sphincter. Okay? In the same way, at the end of it, at the end of esophagus also, another sphincter is present. Okay? And when the food is coming down at that moment, because of this peristaltic movement, this one will open, okay, because of the peristaltic movement, and then because of the pressure of food, this one will open, okay, this last sphincter over here at the end of the esophagus, okay. And because the sphincter is opening over here, so the food can reach from the esophagus to the stomach, okay. But once the food has entered the stomach, again the sphincter is closed. So the food can't go in backward direction. Okay, clear? So what is the name of this sphincter? This is known as lower esophageal sphincter. Okay, or it is also called as cardiac sphincter. Okay, what it is? It is also called as cardiac sphincter. Done. So this is the sphincter. These are the sphincters which are present in the wall of at the beginning and the end of the esophagus. Okay, clear? Now the next structure about what we have to learn, that is a J-shaped structure. This J-shaped structure is known as what? This is called as stomach. Okay, what it is called? It is called as the stomach. Now the stomach here. From the outside, if you see, then you will get two curvature of the stomach. Okay, it is the greater curvature and this is the lesser curvature. Okay, whenever the food is not there, it looks like a fist size only. Okay, but whenever it is full of food, okay, its wall can extend very much. Okay, and around 2 to 3 liters it can extend. Okay, volume it can accommodate. Okay, clear? Now here inside if you see the stomach, then the whole stomach can be divided into 4 different regions. Okay, what are those? One is called as okay, let me draw the stomach separately over here. So here this region is called as what? This region is called as the cardiac region. What it is called? Cardiac region. Okay. So as it is the cardiac region, that's why the sphincter which was present over here, that was also called as the cardiac sphincter. Next, here we are getting a region which is swollen towards the upward direction, and this region is called as what? This region is called as the fundus region. Okay. Now after the fundus, this whole area will be called as the body of stomach. Below the body, here this area is called as the pylorus region. Now the pylorus region has 2 different parts. The first portion where a cavity is present, this cavity region is called as the pyloric antrum. Okay, so this first region is called as what? It is called as pyloric antrum. And the second region, a canal. Okay, here a cannular structure is present which has marched to the next structure, means the small intestine. Now this cannular structure is known as pyloric canal. Pyloric canal. Done. So these are the different portions of the stomach. And at the end of the pyloric canal, here another sphincter we are getting, which are stopping the movement of the food from the stomach to the small intestine till the digestion is not completed over this here, over this region. Okay, so here a sphincter we are getting, which is keeping the area, which is keeping the opening closed. Okay, which is keeping the orifice closed. Normally when the food is digesting over here inside the stomach, okay, what is the name of this sphincter present here? The sphincter is called as the pyloric sphincter. It is called as pyloric sphincter. So what is the function of pyloric sphincter? It is stopping the movement of the food from stomach to the intestine, small intestine, till the time the digestion is not finished over here. Okay, so that is the whole structure of the stomach. Okay, next we have to learn about the histology of it. Okay, that we'll learn next. So we have seen the 4 different layers present, 4 different areas present inside the stomach. Okay, now we have to learn about the inner histology. Okay, here the inner wall structure of the stomach. Now, if we cut the stomach, then inside we are getting, if I cut it like this way, okay, so inside the wall has been invaginated in such a way. Okay, the inside the wall is invaginated in such a way. Okay, so think I have cut this wall like this way. Okay, and here the wall I am getting of the stomach, okay, inside, that will be looking like this. Okay, here. So here the inner wall has been invaginated. Okay, clear? And these invaginated structures are known as gastric rog. Okay, what is called? Gastric rog. Okay, clear? Now if you see the inner wall present over here, okay, what we can see in the inner wall, means at the inner layer what we can find? Inner wall is definitely made of mucosa, as we know. So here in the inner wall, what we can see? Let's draw. So here the inner wall will get many pits, okay, like this. These are called as gastric pit, okay, on this wall only, okay, on the surface of the inner wall we are getting this gastric pit. Now from the surface, okay, if we go towards the inner side, then what we'll see the extension of the gastric pit. And in the extension of the gastric pit, what we'll find? In the extension of the gastric pit, we are finding out a gland. That gland is known as gastric gland. What it is called? It is called as gastric gland. So first of all, on the surface area, we are getting many porous structure, and these porous structures are known as what? These porous structures are known as a gastric pit. Now, if we go down through the pit, then in the wall, what we are getting? We are getting many glandular structures, and these glands are known as what? These are known as gastric glands, okay? And here, think this is the inner muscularis or the muscularis mucosa layer, okay? So it is extending from the epithelial mucosa, starting from the epithelial mucosa up to the lamina propria region before the muscularis mucosa, okay? It is extending up to that, okay? Clear? Now, in this gastric gland, what we'll get? If we see the wall of gastric gland, what type of cells we are getting in the gastric gland, okay? So, I'm drawing that diagram separately over here, okay? So here, this structure I am drawing separately. So here the wall is made of different modified epithelial cells, okay? Now what are those cells present over here? Now towards the upper side or towards the side, okay, towards the side of this gastric gland, in front of the pit region, at the side of the gastric gland, we are getting such kind of cells which are producing HCl, okay, like these cells, these are producing HCl, okay, along with the intrinsic factor, HCl along with the intrinsic factor. Now these cells which are present at the side of the gastric gland near the pit region, okay, what is the name of these cells? These cells are called as the oxyntic cell, okay. What it is called? It is called as the oxyntic cell, or it is also called as the parietal cell. What it is also called? It is called as the parietal cell, okay. So parietal cell or the oxyntic cell, what it is secreting? It is secreting HCl and the intrinsic factors, okay. Next, toward the base region, over here, toward the base region, we are getting a cell, a special kind of cell, which is known as gymogenic cell. Gymogenic cell. And this gymogenic cell is also called as peptic cell, okay. Sorry, this gymogenic cell is also called as the chip cell, okay. So the gymogenic cell or the chip cell, these are secreting what? These are secreting different digesting enzymes, okay, in the inactive form, okay, like pepsinogen, okay. So along with that the renin enzyme, okay. So all these enzymes are secreted from where? These are secreted from the gymogenic cell, okay, clear? So this is the second type of cell which we have got in the gastric gland. After this, we are getting one more type of cell which is present throughout these gastric glands wall, okay, and that is known as mucosal cell, okay, or mucus secreting cell, okay, mucus secreting, which is secreting mucus, okay, mucus secreting cell, okay, clear? And the secretion of all these things, okay, all these things are coming out through the gastric glands pipe and ultimately through the gastric pit outside, okay, and this secretion which is coming outside for the digestion from here, okay, the secretion which is coming out from here for the digestion over this region, okay, is called as what? The secretion is called as gastric juice, okay. What it is called? It is called as gastric juice. We will discuss the function of gastric juice, what enzyme is performing which function over here. We will discuss all those points, but when we will discuss about the digestion, then only, okay, not now, okay. Now we are learning about the structures, and here towards the base region we are getting two more types of cells. One is argentaphene cells, okay, argentaphene cell which secretes serotonin helping in the muscle contraction, okay, and the other one is known as the G cell which secrete a hormone namely gastrin, okay, and gastrin helps to secrete more and more amount of gastric juice over here towards the inner side, okay. So the G cells are secreting gastrin, a hormone, and hormone which can work in the surrounding cell only and help to increase the secretion of gastric juice over here in the cavity of stomach, okay, clear? So this is the structure of the stomach, okay, clear? Now we are moving to the next structure, that is the what? That is the small intestine. Now small intestine, remember this is the longest portion. What? It is the longest portion of the alimentary canal, okay. Small intestine is the longest portion of the alimentary canal. Now what is the length of it? Its length is near about 6 meter, okay, in the extended form if you see. So its length is near about 6 meter, okay, that means near about 20 feet, okay, clear? So its length, small intestine, next we are learning about the small intestine here. And its length is near about 20 feet, okay, which is near about 6 meter, okay. It's the longest portion. Now the small intestine can be divided into three different parts, okay. First, C-shaped portion, the C-shaped portion in human, okay, and in some other animals it is a U-shaped portion, okay. This C-shaped portion in human is called as the duodenum. This is the first portion of the small intestine, okay. So this area will be called as what? This is called as duodenum, okay. After the duodenum, the next portion of the small intestine is called as what? This is called as the jejunum, okay. The second one is called as jejunum. And the last one, okay, the last part of the small intestine is called as what? It is called as the ileum. Now remember, duodenum is the portion where the digestion is occurring finally, okay, clear? So the final digestion is going on over the duodenum region, okay. Now in the duodenum region, what is happening? Duodenum region, the final digestion is happening, okay. So because of for that, many secretion along with the secretion of the intestinal wall is coming over here in the duodenal region, okay. Now which secretions are coming over here, I'll tell you later on about that, okay. Before that, I should mention about the wall of the intestine, okay. Here if we cut the wall of the small intestine, okay, here if we cut the small intestine wall, then So think this is a portion of small intestine. Now I have cut it from the middle, okay, like this way, longitudinally I have cut it, okay, clear? So if I cut it longitudinally, then what we can get over here, see. I can see the inner portion. So now I can see the inner portion. And when I am able to see the inner portion, then I will observe. So this is the inner lining thing. And now what I can observe? I can observe some circular extension, okay? Some circular extension from the wall, okay? Some circular extension from the wall, okay? So like this, okay? So from the wall, some circular extensions we can see, okay? So this kind of circular extensions I can see from the wall, okay, clear? Now these circular extensions are called as what? These circular extensions are called as plica circularis. What it is called? It is called as plica circularis, okay? Circularis. Now what is the function of this plica circularis, which is extending from the inner wall, okay? So it is extending from the inner wall. So what is the name of this circular structure? So these are circular extensions. These are called as plica circularis. Now what is the function for this plica circularis? Plica circularis are segmenting the intestinal inner lumen, okay? So whenever it is segmenting the intestinal inner lumen, then because of the peristalsis, the food can't easily move through the what? Through the small intestine, okay? But it will take the time to move through the small intestine because here many restrictions are present in their way, okay? Because of the plica circularis, okay? And and because of that, what we can see, the movement of the food through the small intestine is becoming slower, okay? And this slower movement of the food through the small intestine is very much required. Why? Because here the digestion is going on, okay? And for the digestion, the mixing of food with the what? The mixing of food with the digestive juice is very much required, okay? So for this mixing of food with the digestive juice, okay, more and more time is required, okay? And that time is given by the plica circularis because it is slowing down the movement of the food through this inner lumen structure, okay, clear? So the food is moving slowly and the digestion can occur properly over here, okay, in this region, okay, clear? Done? Now if I see the wall of plica circularis or other areas of the inner lumen, okay, then what we observe else over here? See, in the inner wall from the plica circularis or from the other portion, we can see that some finger-like projections are present, okay? These finger-like projections are present. So from the plica circularis wall, from the plica circularis wall or from the other portions of the inner wall, okay, what we can see, the finger-like projections are present, okay. Now these finger-like projections are called as what? All of you know. These finger-like projections are called as villi. In singular form, it is called as villas, okay. Now, here the wall of the villi is made of what? The wall of the villi is made of, you know, it is made of brush border epithelial cell. It is made of what? It is made of brush border epithelial cell. Why? Because the outer surface area of this cell is like the brush, okay. So that's why it is called as brush border epithelial cell, okay. Brush border epithelial cell, okay, done. So this brush border epithelial cell is making the wall of the villi, and here if I take one brush border epithelial cell separately, okay, one brush border epithelial cell I am taking separately, this brush border epithelial cells has many finger-like projection on it, okay. This each finger-like projection will be called as what? This is called as microvilli, okay. What it is called? It is called as microvilli, okay, clear? So altogether what we can see, first of all, the plica circularis has made some inner way extension, then from the plica circularis and the other area, again what we can see, the villi has been formed, the finger-like projections, okay, from, so if here, if I draw, this is the plica circularis, think this is the plica circularis, okay, I think I have cut it, and this is the plica circularis, okay, present, okay, clear? Now, from the plica circularis wall, what we are observing? From the plica circularis wall, again we are observing the extension of the villi. The extension of the villi, okay, clear? So like this we are getting the extension over here, done. And on the wall of villi, what we are getting? On the wall of villi, we are getting the brush border epithelium. And on the brush border epithelium, we are getting the microvilli. So because of the plica circularis, then on it the villi, then the microvilli present on the brush border epithelial cell present inside the villi. Because of all these things, the surface area of the small intestine get increased around 600 times, okay. So how many times the wall surface area is increasing? Around 600 times, because of many times we are observing the surface area of inner wall is increasing because of the plica circularis first, then on the plica circularis again because of the villi, then on the villi again because of the microvilli. Every time we are observing the surface area is increasing. So because of all these three extensions, plica circularis, villi and microvilli, the inner surface area is increasing around 600 times, and this inner surface area, increase of inner surface area is very much required. Because of what? Because more surface area is required over here for more absorption of digested food, okay. So the surface area is increasing over here in the small intestine region, okay, clear? So this is about the villi. Now in between the villi up to the lamina propria region, what we are getting? Some crypt-like or the pit-like structures are extending. These pit-like structures are known as what? These are known as crypts of Leverkusen, okay? These are known as what? These are known as crypts of Leverkusen. So this is crypts of Leverkusen, which is present between the villi, here, extended up to the lamina propria region, okay. Now in the crypts of Leverkusen, what we are getting? In the crypts of Leverkusen, we are getting the stem cells, which are forming the cells of all these villi. Okay, this villi has a lot of brush border cells, many other types of cells present on the villi, which these cells are coming from where? These cells are coming from the stem cells which are present inside the crypts of Leverkuchen. Okay, clear? So crypts of Leverkuchen, first of all, containing the what? It is containing the crypts of Leverkuchen is containing what? First of all, it is containing the stem cells. The second type of cell which is present over here in crypts of Leverkuchen, that is called as argentafin cell. Okay, argentafin cell. And these argentafin cells are secreting what you know? Serotonin. And the third one, which is very important, that is Paneth cell. Okay, Paneth cell is present here in the crypts of Leverkuchen. And what is the function of Paneth cell? Paneth cell secretes lysozyme, which helps to kill the microbes over here. Okay, so if any microbes has reached with the food over here, that microbes will be killed over here because of the lysozyme secreted by the Paneth cell. Okay, clear? And Paneth cell is directly involved with the immunity, body immunity. Okay, clear? So this kind of cells are present over here. Okay, now in the duodenum region, one more type of gland we are getting. Okay, what is that? I'll come to that point about that gland. I'll say. Okay, before that, let me tell you that this crypts of Leverkuchen are secreting enzyme is helping to secrete enzyme rich secretion over here, and that secretion is called as intestinal juice. What it is? It is called as intestinal juice, or also called as succus entericus. What it is called? Succus entericus. So succus entericus or intestinal juice, it is secreted from where? It is secreted from the crypts of Leverkuchen. Okay, clear? Next, after this, those glands which are present only in the duodenum. Here in the duodenum region, we are getting one more type of gland is present over here. Okay, so if I draw, now which gland is present over here? Here a gland is present which is extending up to the submucosal layer, okay, and is limited within the what? It is limited, it is mucosal layer and it is submucosal layer. Okay, now these glands are extending up to the submucosal layer. Now, and these glands are limited within the what? The duodenum region only. What is the name of these glands? These glands are known as Brunner's gland. Okay, Brunner's gland. Now, what is the function of Brunner's gland, which is present in the duodenum region? It is secreting some alkaline mucus over here. What? It is secreting alkaline mucus over here. Okay, so along with that, we have learned about the histology and the structure of the small intestine today. And we have left some we have to learn about some other structure from the digestive system. You know that is about the liver, about the pancreas and their connection to the small intestine, and about the large intestine. Okay, so that we'll do again in next class. Okay, and till then, if you have any doubt from this lecture, you know what you have to do. You have given a link over here, mail ID has been given. So please send your doubt. Okay, I will try to give you the feedback there and there. Okay, thank you. Bye.